Good morning. Our devotional today is taken from Psalm 13. It's entitled The In-Between Times. What do you do when you're waiting for God to show up? I had a son who wrestled in Western Mass back in the high school days, and in his final match, he was wrestling a very powerful opponent and was on his back the entire match. He was down 13-1. And his back was just centimeters away from being pinned when he performed a reversal, put the kid in a move called a spladle, and pinned him. His coaches were ecstatic, especially because the whole match Johnny had us on pins and needles, wondering whether or not he was going to be pinned. David, the author of Psalm 13, was a guy who always seemed to be running from somebody, either King Saul as a young man, hiding in caves, or from his son Absalom. He knew what it was like to be under stress, almost ready to be pinned, but not quite. And in those times he cries out, "O Lord, how long? Will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me?" It seemed at times that God was hiding his face from David. Have you ever felt like God was hiding his face from you? I'm sure you have. You want resolution. The weight of the anxieties bearing down upon you. And you just want peace. You want the pain to go away, but it's still there. And you begin to wonder, does God really care? Is he here? Does he see me? How long do I have to endure this? Sometimes those trials come, we don't recognize them until they're there, and they're weighing down our shoulders. And in that time, David says in Psalm 13 that first he turns to himself and seeks counsel within his own soul, but there he only finds sorrow. It's like you can turn within and use logic and reason to try to deal with the stresses of life, but in reality, it doesn't work. We use coping mechanisms to help take off the edge of our problems. But oftentimes those coping mechanisms are just temporary relief and oftentimes lead us into greater bondage, away from God, increasing the distance instead of bringing us closer. David finally cries out, "O Lord, enlighten my eyes that I might see, while I'm in this difficulty, what I should be doing." That cry for God to enlighten his eyes is echoed by the Apostle James when he says, "If anyone lacks wisdom, let him ask of God." He's talking about when you're in various trials. You need wisdom when you're in trials. You need wisdom from God, and God liberally gives and does not withhold that wisdom from those who ask in faith. God is up to something. He's building muscles of faith endurance in you so that you'll become more like his son. He's building character. He does that as he steps behind the curtain. He's there, he's watching, but you can't see him, you can't sense him, you can't feel him. Nothing in your situation seems to be changing. My friends, don't try to wiggle out of things. While you're in those situations, learn as much as you possibly can because your God is in the process of teaching you. Cling to him and trust him. God bless you and have a wonderful day.